morning, everybody. It is so good to have you here with me. Imagine if you have your vision as the car with the right team. Imagine how quick that vision will come into the picture. Something that was taking 5 years takes 3 months. This morning is all about the leadership and influence. Greetings again. It is me, your host, Carl Hendricks, on the Inside Show. I'm so excited about the show every day. I tell you, the guest that we have that's coming through the show is just incredible. And today will not be a show with a difference. I tell you, every day got such beautiful, wonderful, solid guests with me. And today my subject will be living with a fused spine. You won't believe the guest that I have in the studio here today. He went through such a difficult time in his life, and his whole spine was completely fused together. And even in the midst of that, this is a story to hear. That was not the only story. There's more stories attached to it. Stories with the upbringing of the children and the difficulties for where he's originally from, the town where he literally lift himself up from, and where he is now in life. I just want to tell somebody out there, there's hope for everybody. You know, if this man can get through these difficult times in his life, anybody can get through difficult times. When I just look at him, it's like you gain courage and strength just to see how God gracefully keep him, help him, lift him up, anoint and bless him. This is just super grace. And to see the tenacity and the strength, operation after operation. Well, my guest here this morning in the studio is none less than a wonderful person by the name of Denver Vorster. Denver Vorster is really not just a great dad. He's not just a wife to a husband to a lovely wife. He is also a pastor. He pastored a wonderful church in Randfontein. He's not just involved with the church. He's involved with the community per se. He's involved with people on one-on-one basis. I know when I visit with him, people come at the gate and they knock and they ask for help there, and I see his heart and his love for kids and his love for the community. What a man. It's all I can say about him here this morning. And I would love to take this opportunity to welcome my guest here, Denver, Pastor Denver, but for the sake of the show, I'll just call you Denver. Yes. Pastor Denver, I just want to welcome you here on the Inside Show, and thank you so much for accepting this wonderful invitation. I can imagine it will not be easy for you to handle this interview, but thank you so much. A warm welcome to you. And just to kick off with, tell us a little bit about yourself, and you married not, kids not, and the normal, everybody out there would love to know. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carl, for this beautiful opportunity and hosting me. I don't take this lightly. Well, listeners, my name is Denver Vorster. I'm residing in Randfontein since 1989, and I'm so grateful to the Lord. I'm married to a beautiful wife with the name of Sonia.
Sonia, who will not know Sonia Vorster? She's also a coach, and she's also a friend of my wife, and she's like a regular on my wife's shows, the Talk with Joan shows. Everybody will know her, and she's full of joy and laughter and happiness. And I guess she's exactly the same at home.
Oh, yes. At home, she's more an extra. She calls herself the extra mom. So I'm so grateful and to be married to such a wonderful woman.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And then you have kids?
Yes, I've got 2 beautiful kids. My eldest son's name is Miles Malachi. And my daughter is Jade Manet.
Yeah. Tell us a little about Jade. I know now because I know the family. Jade is now doing her final year. She's in grade 12. How's she coping within COVID? Having a COVID grade 12, I can just imagine shouldn't be easy. Or what's the atmosphere now?
Dr. Carl, it has been the first of its kind for all of us. Jade is doing extremely well. There is highlights and there's low lights, and there's sometimes no lights. Yes. Jade takes after her mom.
And literally that no light is real because there's blackouts.
Sometimes there's blackouts. Yes. So Jade is almost like a mom.
Yes.
And she's a beautiful kid. And in this year, she was diagnosed with COVID, and she was admitted in a hospital. I think she stayed in a hospital for a week or two.
Yeah. In her matric year.
In her matric year, and in that time they were busy. She was busy with the prelims at the time, so it was a bit challenging for her because she was at school and she communicated with the teachers and the other learners through her phone. But yes, it was difficult.
Online teaching.
And
Plus COVID on top.
Plus COVID on top.
Yes.
But boy, oh boy, can I tell you, did she pull through?
Yeah.
She has the spirit of a mom.
Yeah,
Or let me
tenacity.
say, she has the spirit of mom and dad.
I think you're modest now. You're modest now, but maybe the mom. But okay, dad as well. There's
I'm gonna throw myself in there too.
tenacity. You have to throw yourself in there for some bonus.
Oh
eh?
yes, exactly.
Before I move over to your son Miles, because there's a story to tell. I just want to play a game with you a little here. You know, as a matter of fact, this ball I received from your family, and I use this as my niche ball. Okay. My show handled this ball. So you know the story where your thumb ends or lands. You read that, and it's really a counseling ball for that matter.
Oh, yeah.
So I hope you get a good one this morning, right? Let me just throw that at you. Okay. What's the reading there? Just read to me. What's he saying?
Say 3 times, I can cope.
Yes. What's one?
I can cope with life.
And that's 2.
I can cope with COVID.
Yes, surely you can cope. You're a fighter. You're a fighter. You're really a fighter. Just back to your kids. Because I'm close to your family. I know your family. I was just there the other day on your birthday, at your place, and your son was there. And I know there's a story. There's a story about your kid, about your son.
Yes, sir.
It's not an easy journey. Are you prepared to share a bit about that?
Yes, Ref. I'm prepared to share, Dr. Carl. Yes.
Tell us your ups and downs with your son.
Well, like I said, my son's name is Miles Malachi. We really had a challenging time with Miles. I think at the age of 16, we're experiencing a difficult time with Miles, where he became involved with drugs. And I've never been involved. Like I said, I can almost say that I've always worked with children that is involved in drugs, but not my own. And when that hit our house or our home, it was a very, very, very challenging time for me, especially when for me as a pastor, because you're helping other kids, and you're your child, your own child, and like I said, that Miles is my only child, so I don't have any other child. So when that happened to us, it hit me so hard, and I really find it hard up until today. I find it really hard. Because Miles was on drugs, and we had a challenging time after time, day after day. Don't know where he is, don't know what's happening to him. You know, so many things, confrontations between me and him as a father of the house, and at times, then I've later only realized that when this son was confronting me, or when the son was standing up against me, it was not really him, but it was the substance that he was using. And at the back of my mind, I always had this thing that, God, why is this happening to me? I've been trying to help, like we said in the beginning. I've been involved in the community. I'm there to help. I'm there to counsel. I'm there to see that other people's lives are on track. And here, this thing is really coming to my house, and I find it very difficult. I had to admit, Dr. Carl, if it's your son or it's your own child, because you are married, you also find that there's a rift between you and your partner, because at the end of the day, is you as a dad would want to act in a different way, and mom would also want to act in a different way. So we always have that strife, but we could, by the grace of God, we could always come together and find an amicable way how to help this boy. But I can say, Dr. Carl, it has been a difficult time.
Just to pick it up here, at the age of 16,
Yes.
that was the first time that you realized that your boy is on drugs.
Yes.
And what was the journey like? He will come on and off it. He's now 20.
He's at 21.
He's now 21.
Yes.
And the drug issues as recent as this year still.
Yes,
And
sir.
give us this journey about homes or rehabilitation centers or anything around it. What did you do?
What we did initially when we found out, we called him in and we spoke to him and we said, listen here, we realized that there's a problem. At first, he was in denial about this whole thing. But what I did, I can clearly remember that day, I said to him, I'm going to buy that test that you buy at CNA, I think.
Yeah, the drug test, yeah.
And that drug test. And I bought that drug test and I tested him.
At what age did you do that?
At 16.
Wow.
At 16.
You could already see behavioral patterns.
I could see behavioral patterns. I could see him coming up to me.
Aggressive.
Don't sleep at home. Stealing. Taking things that doesn't belong to him. You know, all of those things. At times, like I said, go for days. And when he comes back and you want him to account, it is that aggressiveness. You know, and I did a little bit of reading and I realized that this is definitely substance. And the tests have really confirmed that with me.
And how did you feel as a dad? I mean, for the first time, here you are in a pastoral role. You're a father of a house. You try to do the right thing. You raise your kids properly. I know I know your character. What does it do to you?
Dr. Carl, coming from the perspective of a pastor, you feel like a failure. You feel like you could have helped everybody or anybody, but here you cannot help your own son. Or how did, and another question that comes into your mind, why did God allow this? Because didn't God saw this coming? Couldn't God just give me a heads up and I could at least try or not stop this, but at least get myself ready for this whole thing.
Or help earlier.
So I know how to handle this thing.
That was hard, right?
Because the thing that I said to him when I sat down to him, I said to him, Malachi, you know what? As much as this is difficult for you, it's also difficult for Daddy. As much as you've been introduced to this the first time, we have also been introduced to this very situation the very first time.
Yeah.
So let us just take hands and work together.
And then 17.
17. Dr. Carl, I can tell you, as the years, as he have aged 16, it looks like as another year, this thing just escalate. There was one night that he came with a friend at home, and they were sleeping on my couch while they were sleeping, and I could hear there's a whole noise in my yard. So when I wake up, I was like, man, this guy's still with, I think, with 3 or 4 of them in the yard, and they were sleeping because it was already early mornings. So I tried to get him out of my yard, but it so happened that the drugs and the substance, he was so full of that he wanted to attack me. Because, and remember now, at the time, I was a sick person because I had my operations and I could not, and he wanted to attack me. And by the grace,
not thinking, it's not that he doesn't know, not that he doesn't know.
Not thinking, and been in the influence of drugs. And I think recently, or I asked him about that. It's like he can't remember.
It's like a vapor.
It's a vapor. He cannot remember, and I can say that as the year progresses, and we took him from, if I can count now, 4 rehabs.
4 rehabs.
4 rehabs since the age of 16 up until 21. We've been taking him to 4 rehabs. But it looks, and I said to him, there was one day I sat down with him and I asked him, doesn't the rehabs help? He says to me, Daddy, when we took him to the last rehab, he said, Daddy, the reason why, and if I can, I don't know, I don't want to go there because it's going to be too long. He said, the reason why I went from rehab to rehab because I really didn't want rehab. You guys want rehab for me, but I wasn't ready for rehab. I didn't want rehab. And I just went because you guys want me there.
Sure.
And that was, it has been, it hit me because because rehabs, when you talk about rehabs, you talk about money. You talk about all the funds because at the time we had to take the limited resource that we have.
But you know what? Your story sounds exactly like the story of yesterday. Because I had a lovely lady in the studio here. She lifted herself up. I tell her she's got 2 degrees. She's a teacher today and so on. But she mentioned something very interesting. She will be on drugs. And her parents will get people in to come and talk to her. She said she was just nice to her to let her parents feel good. She didn't want her to get off drugs. And it sounds like a similar story. It sounds like the person must get to a point, if there is such a place of a made-up mind.
A made-up mind, yes, definitely.
You need to want it to happen for yourself, not for others.
Yes. And I think at that time, because at the age of 16, you're still young, you have this other friends, so you have this other people that has been in drugs for a long time. Because what also happened, what I picked up, Dr. Carl, is when he started off with this thing, they started using him as a runner. For those people who knows about drugs, a runner means that if I am the drug lord, I get few or 5 guys or 10 guys in the community. I supply them, they smoke. So they don't get paid. But every time they need a fix, they come and they just sell. And so I could pick up that he became a runner. And the reason why I'm saying that, because there was a time that young boys just came to my house.
And you didn't know what? I think I will be equally ignorant. I will just think it's friends coming. At the end of the day, I will just friends coming.
At some time, I thought as a pastor, I have this anointing. I have anointing to pull people. But at the end...
You thought it was you.
But at the end, then I realized, up until one day, when I went into his room, into his room, and I searched his room, I find a bag full of dacha. I almost fainted. I'm like, in my own house.
And you didn't know.
And I didn't know.
Let's fast forward. It's age 17. Never changed. 18. Never changed. 19. Never changed.
20.
Never changed. We're in year
21.
You're in the 6th year.
We're in the 6th year.
But I was there the other day at your house. He walked in. It seems like there's some cheeks now on him, and he looks like weighty now.
Yes.
And what happened?
Yes, Dr. Carl, what happened this year, and it's what I wanted to say earlier. What happened this year is my son really derailed to the point that he was vanishing. He became thin. He became so skinny is not the word, thin. And me and my wife were talking and said, man, because we decided we know we're going to send him to a rehab because he was on 3 rehabs already. So we decided we're not going to send him to the rehab anymore. So the same old same. And I think it was a Sunday. A lady called my wife. My wife said, no, we're sick and tired now of this behavior. We cannot, we literally...
I can't imagine, it must be difficult.
You come to a point, you know what happened? At some point, I didn't want to, I was the tough dad. Give that tough love all the time, from 16 up until this year. What happened was that we swapped the roles between me and my wife. My wife became the tough love giver now. And I became the person, and I will become the softie now. And then what happened when my wife was telling me about, because we have people that works with drugs with the organization called PARA. And she spoke to the lady, and the lady says to her, Lady Sonia, if Miles is ready to go to a rehab and is really serious, there is space for him right now.
Wow.
And then my wife said...
On that Sunday?
On that Sunday.
The very same day the call?
The very Sunday. And we don't know where he is. We don't know where to find him. He hasn't been home for the last 3 days. The police is looking for him. There's a whole lot of things. There's too many things that have happened. You know, and I'm like, man, how are we going to help? Here's help coming. And where is the boy?
Yes.
He's nowhere to be found. And me and my wife said, okay, let us go look and see, because there was a place that we normally go look for him. And we went to go look for him at the drug den somewhere. And on our way, we drove past him. The reason why we drove past him, we couldn't recognize him.
Your own son.
We couldn't recognize him.
My.
The lady that was driving said, isn't that Malachi? And then we turned and then we saw him. Dr. Carl, something powerful happened. Because I know when we called him and he's in that state, he doesn't listen. He goes off in his own way. But when we called him, he came. And when he got into the car, he said, what do you guys want here? Because now we're in his territory now. What you guys doing here? We said, we are looking for you. And the lady says, Miles, if you're ready now to go to a rehab, there is space for you right now. And Dr. Carl, the beautiful part is it is fully paid up.
Sure.
We don't have to pay a cent. And then he responded, if you want to take me to a rehab today, I'm ready, because I have asked God Friday, if you are God and you want to help me, send me a rehab that I can go to.
This time
I am willing to go to a rehab. And I was like over the moon. I was like, God, is this really happening to us? And we took him to the rehab, to the point they said, Mommy, Daddy, I don't want you guys to take me with. I'm old enough. I'll go with the lady, and then I'm gonna go book myself in. And that is how. And Dr. Carl, he has been there since August. Since August, and then up until last week. When he came home. So when you saw him last week, you know, no more skinny, having a little bit of body. That was by the grace of God, how God have helped us through a beautiful rehab.
And how's he doing now?
Reverend, he is doing very well right now. He's doing very well. The beauty part is because as a father, you sometimes wanna watch this thing. Is this thing real? The first day when he came, I said, I want to check this boy out. The first day when he wakes up early in the morning, play gospel music, praying. And I'm like, let me check this the second hour. It's like, let me say this thing for 3 days.
Yes.
And after the third day, it was something like God speaks into my heart. When I find myself praying with him. I find myself with him. And he's doing this every day. And he's currently helping out at a rehab in Tukomsras.
Wow.
He's up there early until late.
That's a story to tell. Man, thank you so much for being so honest about you. Yes. I know you're helping a lot of people out there. And I know it's hard for all our viewers on the
definitely.
Inside Show. Thank you so much for your time as well, listening to this. So what a story. I'm about to share a story about a person who had a back problem for many, many years. It's not your normal back problem where you just have a backache or so. This is a deep story. I tell you, when I look at this man and looking at him with his whole back fused completely, I watch how he has to push himself up in the chair now, and the pain and the severity that goes with that, sometimes good days, sometimes bad days. But this man had the tenacity to press on and to press through. But before we get to your story, a very interesting story. You don't go anywhere. You keep on watching here, because there's something in store for you there. This story is really, really a good story. But I want to get back to your birthplace called Hartswater. Now yes. I've got a map on there for people to see. You see, the best way to explain, most people will know where Kimberley is. Kimberley sits right there. Welkom sits right there on the other side. Oudensdaal, so that's Bloemfontein sits here. Right in line with Bloemfontein on the upper side of Kimberley. It's a little town called Hartswater.
Yes.
That's where you from.
That's where I was born. Yes.
Was born there. And you know what? I travel extensively. I travel Northern Cape. I travel really a lot. And it's almost like that text. Can something good come out of Hartswater?
Yes, sir.
Can something good come out of Hartswater? And surely, I I don't underestimate the area because I know so many beautiful people there. I know even if your some of your family members from there graduated into lawyers.
Oh, yes.
And so there's some beautiful things. There's
Things happening,
There's
yes.
stories, but you must not forget, they look up to you. You kind of set an example for them that
Yes,
it is possible to pick you up from Hartswater. Tell us a little about your upbringing. How was it in Hartswater?
Dr. Carl, it has been very tough because Hartswater is a very a dusty area. I remember when we brought up, we didn't know tar roads. It's only sand and dusty roads. That's all we knew at the time. And I was born in Hartswater at a hospital called Connie Vorster Hospital. That is where I was born and raised in Hartswater. The old place was called Noordhoek. For those people who knows, it was called Noordhoek, and there were no lights. Everything is dark. But the beautiful part of that, in that darkness, you could call somebody's name a mile away because we got so used to the darkness of the area that you could spot somebody from afar. And growing up, we were 10
10 children?
10 children.
Yeah, and 10 children in the dusty roads of Hartswater.
10
But I guess it was a time before TV, right?
Yes, that's what the time before TV. Yes.
But to raise 10 children in apartheid, I think that couldn't be easy.
Yes, Rev. It was very, very challenging and very, very, very tough. But I must really give it for my mom and dad and raising us up, because my mom used to be a domestic worker and my father a bricklayer, and that is how they've raised us up. I'm the youngest of my brothers. I'm the youngest of my brothers, and growing up in Hartswater, in that it was a challenging time. I can remember in a time in the apartheid area, you could only stay or be in town until 5 or 6. Then you need to get out of the town, because in those days you could not be in town. But
was there a siren or did you just grow up? Is that because in certain towns there was a siren that you have to leave town now? But for you, it was just a underlined, a known that you...
It was a known thing that by a certain time, and if you don't get out of the town, they lock you up.
Oh my word.
If you don't get out of town a certain time, and what they would do, they would beat you up and a whole lot of things.
Yes.
But it has been really tough. But what I can say is, because Hartswater is actually in an area, we're calling it the Valhartskema.
The Valhart.
Valhartskema.
Okay.
Yes, and the municipality there is the Pokwane municipality. It has been recently changed to Pokwane.
Yeah. And so you moved from Hartswater. You did your high school career in Hartswater.
Now, I was there up until grade 7. And then I moved to a place called Jacobsdal. Jacobsdal.
Now, where will Jacobsdal be?
Jacobsdal is...
From Hartswater, how many kilometers?
In kilometers, I would say like 300.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
And then you moved to Jacobsdal.
To Jacobsdal. I was there until, in our terms now, standard 8.
Okay.
And then from there, I came to Randfontein in 1989.
And you finished your high school there?
I finished my high school in Randfontein, yes. That's where I finished my high school.
Well, interesting story. Let's speed the process up a little bit. Let's get to the point that I really, really invited you to the studio here. Your journey, your ordeal. This whole thing about your spine, that, man, oh man. Can you take us to this story? Because I can just imagine what you went through. With this whole story, your whole spine fused together, and I want you just to talk us through a little. And then on the screen there, right now, as you are seated there, explain to us the yellow part and the green part and the blue part, if that will help. Exactly, that's your lumbar side up to the cervical spine on top there. If you most probably can just explain to us which levels are fused together and so on, just for a better understanding for our viewers.
Okay, the parts that is fused together in your neck, you got 7 cerebrals, 7. So the parts that is fused together is 2 and 3, 4 and 5, and 6 and 7. So basically, the only one that stands out, the only one that's loose is number 1. So because it's 2 and 3, 4 and 5, and 6 and 7.
After how many operations?
That's after 3 operations.
Okay, take us to the day that happened. What happened? How did you end up with a back spine injury? Take us through the whole journey, because I remember you also in a wheelchair, and the journey I can imagine. Take us to the journey.
Dr. Carl, it was a Saturday afternoon while I was busy cleaning the pool. And as I was busy cleaning, almost finished, then I slipped.
In a dry pool?
In a dry pool. I slipped, and then I fell at the back of my head. I was numb. I was numb. I think I was lying there for like half an hour, 45 minutes. I couldn't move my hands. I couldn't move nothing.
Wow.
I was just lying. Then I decided to crawl and to get out of the pool. I crawl.
And your family at that point in time in the house?
They were in the house. My wife was busy in the house. And I think we only at the time had Miles. Because Miles was born in 1999. So I got out of the pool, and I was lying there for another half an hour. Up until help comes. I tried to shout, but nobody heard me. And then my wife, when she came to the room, because our window is close to the pool, and then she saw me lying there, because I like to make jokes at times, and she probably thought I was making a joke.
Wow.
But when she came out, I said to her, I can't move. And then they took me to the doctor. But at the time, nothing showed. That was prior 2005. Because the operation was in 2005. That was prior to 2005. Nothing showed. And what happened was that one weekend I went diving. And I had pins and needles, just itching my whole body, just itching. And I was like wondering, and I said to this guy, I said, listen here, I think you need to go see a physician. That was the Saturday. We came back the Sunday. The Monday, I decided to. The Monday I went to work, and while I was busy, at that time I was with the AFM Church, and I was busy with a crusade, arranging a crusade. I went to work, and coming from work the night I was busy hanging out posters. But while I was at work, I said to this guy, man, because we were working with papers, reams of papers. I couldn't pick up the papers. When I pick it up, it fell. I couldn't hold nothing. I could hold nothing, not even a cup in my hand, and it fell. And then I was putting up these posters. And the next morning I said, man, I need to go. And the next morning I wake up, because I'm a very hyperactive person. Then the morning I decided to paint. But as I was painting, the brush are just falling out of my hands. I said to my brother-in-law, I need to go to a doctor. Along the way, my hands and feet just became lame. I was lying on the steering wheel and driving myself that way to the hospital. When I get to the doctor, it was so full. The lady said, sir, we cannot help you. We can come tomorrow. As I'm going out, I collapsed and I fell. The doctor rushed me in. He said, and he said, sir, I need to help you, and we need to do an emergency operation. If we don't do this, you will never walk in your life ever again. I burst in tears, because I'm like, why is this happening to me now? And I was admitted. So many things happened in this time. My brain started to swell. My feet started to swell. A whole lot of things. My medical aid doesn't want to admit me, because I was not on a different scale, and a whole lot of. But God came through for me in this time, and I had the first operation in 2005, and that was now C2 and 3. That was
so. What did they do on that operation? Why the operation?
They did a fusion. When a fusion is like when they take one of your cerebrals and they put it together. And what they do is they put a plate with some screws. in suit 2 and 3, I have a plate with 4 screws to hold that place, that plate together. That is what they do what they did in 2005 with my first operation.
So you came out there and
I came out there, that was 2005. I was at home and I couldn't walk for a year and a half.
what? You could not walk at all.
I could not walk. My speech was slow. I couldn't speak well. My hands, I couldn't use my hands. I couldn't walk. I could do nothing.
What was their time like for you?
It was most of the frustrating times of my life because I could do everything and anything. I used to run. I used to run marathons. Today I can't even run from here to there. It was a very, very challenging and difficult time for me, like I said, because I could do everything for myself. I could run and do all of these things. But it was a very frustrating time because I've never been in hospital. I've never been in hospital. I don't know what it is. I never had any injuries. I had nothing. But with my first operation in 2005, it was really, really, really challenging. And I was just up there praying to God. God,
Was that the time that you ended up in a wheelchair?
that was the time that I ended up in the wheelchair.
For a year.
For a year and a half.
A year and a half.
A year and a
That
half.
is a long
I
time.
could not do nothing.
What was the hardest thing for you? If you look at how other parents handle their kids, and so, what was the hardest thing for you during that time?
The hardest thing for me was that people taking care of me. Because I was at a stage where I took care of myself. And now it was so bad that I could not brush my teeth. They had to wash me. They had to brush my teeth. They had to literally they had to dress me. And it was a very challenging, and I mean, for a man, it was of such that, man, why can't I just help myself? Why can't I just brush my teeth, my teeth at least?
Did you wanted to give up during that time? Was there a time of demoralization when you felt like, no, I can't handle this anymore?
Dr. Carl, truth be told, and if one have to be very honest, at the time it was the first operation, and it was like, why is this happening? And it was, I almost gave up. But something, because when I was young, I wish you met me when I was still up and running.
So you're not young anymore. I'm just teasing.
I'm just young. I'm just young and beautiful now. I'm young and beautiful now.
Yeah. So you were saying. Sorry, I was taking your words out of your mouth. You were running back in the day, and now you couldn't do anything.
I couldn't do anything, and that was for me very frustrating. That I could not help myself. And yes, I wanted to give up, but I had that spirit of never give up.
Tenacity.
Push, that tenacity within inside of me to push. And that's why I'm saying that I never had a thing. And one of the things that I have to give credit is my upbringing. My upbringing to never give up. Hartsvater came into place, came into being, and just pushed myself.
Yes.
That because I was now here up in Gauteng, here in Randfontein, coming from Hartsvater. So I got to prove that something really happened. That I'm no more that person. Something have really changed.
Yeah. So how did you get out of that wheelchair? Take us there. What happened a year and a half later? What changed?
I had to do physio. I had to do a lot of exercises. And one of the biggest exercise that I had to do is the mind.
Yeah, I agree with you.
One of the most powerful things, because after brushing my teeth, after being fed, and now I'm lying there on the bed. It's only me and this situation. And if I didn't win it in my mind, I think then I would have gave up. But I had to fight. Every day I had to fight. Every morning, because the thing is, one of the things is of such that I was no more in hospital, because in hospital they giving you, a lot of medication. But when you're home now, they're giving you different medications, so the medication is different. So at home now, I had to really pray myself through this whole thing, because it has been a difficult journey.
And also your medical aid was depleted.
Because those operations were so expensive.
Exactly.
It was very expensive.
Take us to the second operation. So between the first and the second, why was there a need for a second operation?
I went back to work. And
a year and a half later.
And then the last 6 months I went back. When I went back to work, I was up and running and do what I have to do. And then it just happened again. I got these pins and needles. I couldn't hold it. I was like, saying to my wife, what is this? I went back to the hospital, to the doctor, the same doctor at the time. And the doctor says to me, Mr. Vorster, I don't know what happened here, but it seems to me like we're sitting with the same problem. And he was making a joke with me. He said, Mr. Vorster, if this continue, you're going to be like a Robocop at some point. because
Sorry for laughing. I don't laugh at these things, but but he's welding you together.
He's welding me together.
Yeah. So the first operation was again which two?
The first operation was 2 and 3.
Yes.
The second operation was 3 and 4.
So now you have this 2 together.
I have this 2 together.
And then another 2
and I have another 2 together.
Also same process with plates and screws.
Screws, same. But the second operation was more advanced. The second operations, they don't use screws. Because if you look at my x-rays, you can see the first operations, there's screws, but the second one, it's totally different. So in 2007, I had my second operation, and I had to stay at home again. Same process.
Very frustrating, because that's the impact on your finances, on your emotions, it's impact on your children.
It's a whole lot of things, because at the end of the day, I'm having and you know what, my wife is still young. I'm like, when I sometimes talk to the Lord, I said, Lord, have you seen how young my wife is? I cannot go nowhere. And sometimes I had to literally fight this thing. We might talk about this, but when you in this whole thing, I was asking my daughter the other day, what is the meaning of life? Give me the definition of life. And she was giving me all of this definition. I said to her, my baby, you know what is life? Life is health.
For you,
for me. If you don't have life,
but
if you're not healthy,
the truth is for everybody.
Yes,
because you know what? If you're not healthy, you can have all the money in the world.
You can have all the money in the world.
Buy health.
Yes.
But when you're healthy, you can make the money.
You can make the money.
Yeah, and sometimes this is a joke, but in any case, most people work their whole life long to make money, and they make all the money just to spend it back on
on the health.
On health again.
Just to spend it back on the health.
Yeah, because it's so expensive.
It's very expensive.
Before we move into the third operation, you shared one day with me how hard it was as a dad not to pick your kids up like other father. Tell me a little about that experience.
Yeah. With my first operation, I had Miles. So I think in my second operation, we had Jade. So it was very, very frustrating for me as a dad, because there was a day that when Jade came, and then Jade was asking me, Daddy, can you please pick me up? Because she wanted me to put her on my neck. And I had to tell her that,
sure.
Baby, I actually picked her up. And she said, okay, no, not here, Daddy. Because she probably saw other children being picked up by their dad. And she told me, said, Dad, not there. Put me on your neck.
Wow.
And I was, for 1 minute, it's like something hits you, that I am not able to put this child on my neck based on my operations. And I had to explain to her that, Jade, Daddy cannot put you on my neck because of my operations. And at the time she was still small, I had to explain to her a little bit. I don't know, did she buy that? But
so your children literally was raised knowing you the way you are. They don't know you prior that, because Jade was not born then when you had this
the first operation in 2005.
Yeah, and then Miles. No, Miles was born, but Jade not, and now Jade later. And you cannot do the normal things that others will do.
Dr. Carl, it is very, very frustrating. I have to say it again, that because you want to do things, and there's certain things that a child is expecting or want his or her father to do. Play around, do like all fatherhood, but I just could not. And I think at some time, if for lack of a better word, I think due to my illness, I was robbed from that part of not playing
With your kids and rolling with them and picking them up, put them on your neck and so on.
Yes.
I can imagine.
I tried though, here and there, but I have to tell you that in the night I paid the price, because then I have
The painful.
then I had to take a double dose.
Yeah.
Then I have to take a double dose at night.
Yeah. Let's move on to the third operation, and I've got on the screen here. By this,
But before we go there,
yeah,
before this operation, I had another operation.
that's number 3.
That's number 3.
Yeah.
As I'm just remembering now.
Is this 4?
This is 4.
Oh yeah.
I had a back operation.
Yeah. What year was that?
That was in 2018.
All right.
That was in 2018.
So why was there a need for a back operation? What happened then?
What happened there, Dr. Carl, was that in my back, the cerebrals that was there was scratching on one another.
Like bone on bone.
It was like bone on bone, and I could not, and then the doctor
And the pain
advised, and the pain was so severe, because what happened now is my feet became lame, and if my feet became, then if you
trip and fall.
if you can look at me, here's a mark here. It looks like a Nike.
Yeah.
This is how I fell at one point.
Okay.
Because my feet became so lame and I just collapsed.
Oh, my
and I
word.
hit against something.
Yes.
So I have a
That was your
fusion.
third operation.
That was my third
So what did they
operation.
do in that operation? They fused.
They did a fusion too, because I think a fusion is much better to do, because they're bringing all those 2 bones, because it's bone on bone.
All right. Jeez, what a journey. That was
Yeah.
2018.
That was 2018.
Wow.
And I had to again pull myself up from there.
I can imagine
And
emotionally.
Because the thing is, you have to pull yourself up and emotionally, and you gotta come up and say to yourself that. And the one thing, when I had my third operation, I said to myself that if I could have made it through the first, I can make it to the second, and then I can make it to the third one too. Not knowing
There's a fourth one.
there's a fourth one
Oh
coming.
my word.
Not knowing there's a fourth
my
one
word,
coming.
I'm telling you. And this fourth one, I must just say, was in COVID. Right in COVID.
Right in COVID.
Yeah. Now, if you have to talk us through, will you be able to explain to us there exactly? Because you sent me the clip, and there's actually a video on that. And there's a part there, right, looks like a river in between there. And that part there, it looks like a river cutting through there. I don't know if in the paddock can they show the people there. Thank you so much. The area narrowed out there.
Yes, sir.
Talk us through that.
What happened if you look at the picture there, that part in the middle, that's your spinal cord. So, and around that is your spine. So what happened, where it became narrow, it is where my spine is pressing on my spinal cord. So it means that anything and everything that my brain will send to my body got fused right there. Because and what happened at the time is I could not use my hands, because my hands became very lame. And if my hands became lame, my neck became lame. Everything becomes so severe that I could not, and the pins and needles came back. Because at the end of the day, if the where the narrowing is, if you don't bring a relief, if you don't bring a relief, and that is what the doctor had to do, bring about a relief and make the space a bit bigger there so that
That slide that we see now on the left side.
Yes, on the left side.
Now you can clearly see how narrow it is there, because it seems like something is pressing there. Even the color is different there.
Yeah, the reason why you see it, you will see the color, because if you look up on the first one, the color up, it's much more clearer. You see how clear it is.
Yeah.
And then once it's come down, it becomes dark, and that's where and you can even see
pressure
look
was at that
the,
point.
the pressure there. And when you look at this is where, and that is why, because the pressing right there, and that's where the pain is. That's where the pain, and that is actually where they did the operation.
The fourth time. Within COVID. You know, I must just say, when I listened to the doctor who sent you that clip, because you sent it to me to listen to it, when I listened to the doctor, it was, do you know, that doctor can't believe that you walk. It's like, you're not supposed to walk, according medicine. You're not supposed to walk.
Dr. Carl, when I did this X-ray, because I had a first one, but the first one was not clear. So when I went to the last doctor, he said, no, I need to do a new one. But my medical aid don't want to do a new one. But God's grace,
Yes.
we did another one.
Yeah.
And this is the one that we're having right here.
This was the beginning. This was January, February. This year. COVID year.
So the doctor that sent this to me, and the previous doctor said to me, Mr. Vorster, because before I went in, the doctor asked his PA, is this man on a wheelchair or is he walking?
Yeah.
So when I walked in, it's like,
he was shocked.
With a neck like this,
Yes.
you are not able to walk.
You're not supposed to.
I'm not supposed to walk. And the other doctor also confirmed that, and he actually advised me. I would advise you, because what I need to do now is, I was at the first doctor. I had a first doctor first that checked me out. And then I had to go make up my mind and think about it. And then I said to my wife, let's go for a second opinion. This is a second opinion.
Yeah.
So when we got the second opinion, then it's at that time that I made the decision that we're going to do. And the doctor also recommended, because if I was not going to do this in the 3 months time, I was going to be definitely in a wheelchair. Then most definitely. And I asked him, why do you say this? He said, the pressure from the first and the second operation, because you don't have, because I cannot move like normal people, because at times I try to, but when I move my head too quick.
So you need to move the whole body.
I actually must talk to the first doctor, because he said I'm going to become a Robocop.
And now it seems like
I don't know what was he prophesying or what.
So you literally turn like that, and you cannot
turn.
just bend like any other person.
No.
You have to go down in a specific way.
Yeah.
You have to stand up in a specific way,
way.
because literally your whole spine completely is.
My whole spine, because if we talk about 2 and 3,
That's fused.
2 and 3
The first one with plates.
with plates and
Right.
screws,
And then
you have 3 and 4
also
fused.
Yeah.
Then you have 6 and 7.
Also fused.
So the only one that stands out or loose is number 1.
Otherwise,
so-
your whole spine is literally fused.
My whole spine is literally fused. So
My,
there is
my,
the
my,
last time when I saw the doctor, he says, Mr. Vorster, you're gonna be very careful, because there's no space to operate in your neck again. And if anything happened now, I have to tell you, you will be definitely in a wheelchair.
Yeah. But by the grace of God, we
By
believe.
the grace of God,
We believe.
We believe,
Yeah.
and I know. And I said to myself, and I said to my wife, I decree and I declare that this is the last operation. God have put me and pulled me out of this, and I believe that by the grace of God,
Yes.
that I will not. Dr. Carl,
The preacher is coming out of you now. The preacher is coming out.
I better go down now.
The preacher is coming out of you now.
But the long and short of is,
Yes.
I said to the Lord the other day, I am tired of operations.
Operations, yeah.
Because if you take from 2005
Yeah,
up
up
until
to,
2020,
yeah.
it's been a long journey. It's been
Yes.
a difficult, and in between this, it is just not my operation.
Yeah.
It's all of the things. I'm running a church. I'm having a marriage. I'm having kids. I'm working in the community. You got to deal with all of these things in between.
Mm-hmm.
But by the grace of God, and I can say like David says, if it had not been for the Lord that is on my side.
Yes.
And I don't know if I didn't have God on my side. I don't know if I was not a strong believer. And I just thank my mom, because my mom was a very strong prayer person.
warrior.
And when I came to Randfontein, I met another man of God, another mentor with the name of DJ August. That have soaked us and taught us
In
how
prayer.
to pray.
Yes, yes.
You know, all the obstacles of life, so all the things in life that you would go through. It doesn't mean that things will not come to you, but these things you will overcome by prayer.
Yes.
And I'm just grateful, and I'm so thankful unto God that God pulled me through.
Yeah.
You know, God brought me from Hartswater.
Yeah.
God brought me to Randfontein
Yes.
in 1989, and God brought me to all this operation.
Yeah.
And I know that God is not finished with me yet. I believe that there is
Praise the
still more things that God is about to do
testimony.
in my life.
What a testimony. And you had an operation, and it's few months down the line. How are you doing now since the last operation?
Dr. Carl, I'm feeling much better. I think the last time when we spoke, I told you about a constant pain. And when I talk about constant pain, I'm talking about constant pain. You're drinking tablets,
But no relief.
but no relief. That's gone. That's gone. I can use my hands. I might not be able to move around like I used to.
Yes.
But
But you're
it's
robot
much
cop. But you're
better.
robot cop.
I'm a new Robocop. I'm a new Robocop. I can and thanks be to God.
Yes.
Thanks
Yes,
be
yes,
to God
yes, yes, yes.
for and really, if I may, I don't know, will that be your end remark, that if there's somebody out there this morning.
Yeah, that's your closing remarks.
Yes.
You're gonna speak to somebody. Look into that camera there, and then you address somebody out there.
If there's somebody out there this morning that feel that I cannot go on with life and life is tough, then I want to encourage you this morning that never give up. God have put within inside of us so much power. God have put with us so much that we cannot give up. And I believe I believe that we are here on this earth for a reason. We are here on this earth for a season, and we need to find our purpose. And this morning, I want to say, you are here for a reason. You might be here for a season, and you have a purpose. Don't die. And I always say that the poorest person in life is a person that doesn't find out his or her purpose. And I'm encouraging this morning, never give up. Doesn't matter what you're going through. You might not be going through the things that I went through, but I'm here to come and tell you that never give up. Push through, pull yourself up this morning, pull yourself up tomorrow, pull yourself up wherever you may find yourself, and God loves you.
Yeah, what a wonderful closing remarks there from the Honorable Denver Vorster, who's also pastoring. What a journey, what a journey. I tell you, I'm not sure if I would have made it through, but God somehow gives tenacity to the right people and the strength to the right people. A person from the dusty roads of Hartswater picked himself up from that condition, poverty to the extreme dusty roads, as he explained. But somehow, by the grace of God, he believed that he's meant for better and bigger and greater things.
Yes, sir.
Purpose in life. And that's how we managed through 4 operations, sitting here today by the grace of God. And you can still hear a positive person, raised 2 beautiful children, one that with a great struggle from the age of 16 up till now. And we see the change now. We thank God for that change. And this is the journey. I hope you receive a lot out of the Inside Show here today from my side. I just want to sign out here. Thank you so so much for tuning in. Every day, a different day on the Inside Show. On Monday, you have the shake with what do they call it there? Mr. The morning shake, the morning shake. I was thinking about this guy, Robert Cobb. Can you do a morning shake still? He's such a fun guy, The morning shake with Xavier, different guests in the studio. Then the Tuesday, I'm online on Insights. I do the previous show. I did my Insights book with you on leadership. And today, I had this wonderful guest. Tomorrow, my wife will be on with Talk with Joan. Every time a different guest. And on Fridays with the Hunk, you call him the Hunk, eh? In your fields with the Ankh. That's all right. Then we literally on every day, and may God bless you. And during these difficult times, you stay focused. You do what you must do. I love you. God loves you best. I'm signing out. God bless you. And thank you for tuning in again. Don't forget to hit that bell. Don't forget to hit the subscription button. And every time when we come online, you will know. Take care and subscribe. And I love you. And I'm signing out. God bless. Good morning, everybody. It is so good to have you here with me. Imagine
if you have your vision as the car with the right team.
Imagine how quick that vision will come into the footsteps. Something that was taking 5 years takes 3 months. This morning is all about the leadership and influence.